Hey, I'm Kylie Olsen. Now, together with Sky Arts, on the 5th and 6th of June, we are celebrating Download Festival with some of the best headliner performances from over the last 10 years. As part of the lead up to that, I caught up with the one and only Kiss's Paul Stanley to talk about what the band have been up to recently and the band's experience of playing at the festival.
Download is so important. And it really has such I'll say gravitas. It has so much importance and meaning that for us, it was really important to come in and make a statement. I guess it worked because we've been back quite a few times since then. And I was just looking at a photo of our last appearance at Download, the finale when all the fireworks were going off.
Yeah. And
it's pretty hard to beat. I was sharing that photo with Dave Grohl, and Dave was like, "Oh, come on." I mean, that's one for the book. So Download is something that is real important to us, and to have it postponed and then postponed again. All I can say is it just makes us that hungrier to do it.
But yeah, no, I do remember though that in 2015, which was the last time you played there. I mean, you're going to be back next year, fingers crossed, which is great. So how are you going to top that 2015 performance? Is it possible to have more fireworks?
Well, bigger is better,
Yeah.
More is better. And really the band, we put so much time into rehearsal before the beginning of the end of the road tour, just to make sure that the band was really at top of our game. And the set list, it's songs you have heard before, but let's face it, those are the songs people want to hear. So this stage is phenomenal. And it's interesting that fans have all said how great the show is, but critics have just said how great it is. I had to think, am I reading about us? Because it's been great. So when we finally do get to play Download, we'll be in top form.
Yeah, and you mentioned the end of the road tour. You were meant to be on that right now.
Yeah.
Do you still feel like after having this break that you want to retire from Kiss or Kiss as a touring band?
Yeah, I think I'd be kidding myself if I thought otherwise. If we were just another band in T-shirts and trainers and what have you, yeah, we could do this into our 80s, but we're running around on stage with 40 or 50 pounds of gear and, boots with 8-inch heels. And we do it well, but I also know that we can't do it forever. So before it reaches that point, I think it's better that we stop. I take it real seriously. So the idea of being able to do this without end, it's just not possible. The one thing you realize as you get older is that at some point you stop getting older. Everything comes to an end, and there's other things I want to do, and it's just not, like I said, it's not possible to do what we do indefinitely. It's just not.
You're just going to have to revisit the makeup-free phase, aren't you? That era of the band.
Well, anything's possible, but who knows? Who knows?
And I was reading that there might be a Kiss biopic in the pipeline. Where are you with that?
There is, and it is definitely happening right now. In June, here in the States on A&E, there'll be a 2-night special, a documentary, which is really awesome. And then, there's a biopic, as they're called, and that's going to be really interesting. That's script was really good, And we really waited until we felt comfortable. The idea of just look, you get one chance to do it. And I would rather not do it than do it half-assed or poorly. Our director is, the real deal. He did Maleficent 2, and he's not some hack. And
he knows how to make movies. Yeah,
he knows how to make movies, and this should be great. It's going to be interesting to see. Casting hasn't begun yet, but that will be interesting too.
So you know what I'm going to ask you? Who's playing you? Who would you like to play you?
And I will tell you this: for casting to be accurate in terms of age, you're looking at actors in their early 20s.
Right.
Honestly, I don't know a whole lot of actors in their early 20s. When people get asked these kind of questions, they'll say, "Oh, Brad Pitt or this one or that one." Well, those guys are in their 50s or 60s. So you're talking about another generation of actors, and I'm the first to say I'm not up on a lot of them, but as the casting process goes on, I'll certainly be there and watching, and it'll be interesting to see how someone else, be it the casting people or the director, how they view who I am, and who they see doing that. I think I'll learn a lot about their perception of me by who they cast.
It's going to be like therapy for you, maybe.
Shock therapy.
I love that. That's great. So how has your lockdown been? What have you been doing? I know that you've put a new album out, the Soul Station album, which is brilliant. I mean, you've always kind of worn it on your sleeve that you love Motown and soul and stuff like that. And I think you did a fantastic job with the album. Really good. It's a very authentic album. You haven't veered too much away from the original songs, but you've made it your own at the same time. So you did a great job with it.
Thanks. Yeah, the idea was not to try to reinvent it, and I think that would be incredibly presumptuous to think that I'm going to make those better by changing them. I wanted to respect them, and yet not turn it into karaoke or mimicry. Everybody in Soul Station has played with Smokey and Stevie Wonder, Whitney Houston, the list goes on and on, but we love this music and we have a ball. It's really, to see the band live or even to see the videos really kind of confirms the chemistry in the band. So I had a ball making the album, and shows we've done have been really well received. And so, yeah, that will continue. Other than that, in my downtime, the first 3 months of the quarantine, nobody knew what we were dealing with in the States, and we didn't know the parameters of how you could catch it, what the contagious level was. So I virtually, for the first 3 months, I stayed inside. It was crazy. First day I went out, it was the weirdest feeling to go out. I had, gloves on and a mask, and kind of felt like one of those movies like Andromeda Strain or Contagion or one of those kind of movies. The weird thing was that it was real, and people were dying. I mean, it's been catastrophic. For me, it's been an inconvenience, but for other people, it's literally been life and death or losing a business. So devastating. After a few months, I started making my way out and trying to tell people, look, the world isn't closed. You just have to be aware of what you can and can't do. And I wound up riding my bike a lot. I try to do 25 miles 3 times a week, something like that.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, and just spend time with family. That's obvious. I think if anything comes out of this, I'd like to think people realize how important family and friends are. That's what I think got a lot of people through this is just sharing their fears and their hopes. And so that was a lot of it. And Soul Station. And also Kiss got to do a New Year's Eve pay-per-view in Dubai, which was just surreal for us because we had literally not played for almost a year and did rehearsals in quarantine conditions and adhering to the protocols for the virus. And then we flew to Dubai with masks on, and everybody on the aircraft did the same. And then we were quarantined there. And our crew, I think there was 500 people working to build the stage, and they were tested daily. So for us to go from 0 to 60, so to speak, from being virtually locked in our homes to going out on stage, it was daunting. And it was also kind of like surreal because there was no real crowd of any size there. And yet we were on this massive stage. And I was certainly aware that the camera lens was my eye view into people who were watching it. So it was a different experience, but it gave us hope for things to come.
Yeah, that must have been quite odd to finish a song and not hear a crowd screaming and clapping, and it just must feel like the weirdest thing ever.
Well, I've heard clapping and I've heard the crowd so often that maybe I was fantasizing, and it was still us. And I have to say that the pyro at the end of the show I've never seen anything like that in my life. That was like World War III. It was just crazy. It never ended. So we had a great time, and got to do something we never thought we would, and kind of like took everything up a few steps. The flames on stage were absolutely hellacious. I mean, when people come to our shows, they feel the heat in the audience, but it was so hot on stage when these flames went off that it was like a furnace. It was frightening. I mean, I felt like any minute I was going to spontaneously combust. It was it was great. It was a lot of fun, and I'm just looking forward to the end of this, and looking forward to being able to get back out and do what we were doing, because we were doing it so well and having such a great time. Look, the idea of being able to go on stage and share with people that this is it, is something I think we're lucky to do. When we did the farewell tour, I think in 2000, it was really because we drank the Kool-Aid. In other words, we suddenly bought into the idea that the band couldn't continue without the members that were in there. But that's something we never lived by in the past. And when we called it quits, it was because we were miserable. And it wasn't that we wanted to quit. We didn't want to say goodbye to the crowd. We wanted to say goodbye to 2 members. So once we established that, we said, well, fans were saying, when are you going back on tour? So all of a sudden we felt we can come back. And it's been amazing since then. But now for real, I think people understand that this is different. It's, you can play beat the clock, but sooner or later the clock wins.
Unfortunately, it does. It does. And I know that Gene is relocating to Vegas. So there's no chance of a residency there or something like that for a while?
Well, Tommy, Gene, and Eric are all living in Vegas. So I'm here all by my lonesome. And it's weird. It's weird to know they're all there. They just had dinner a couple of nights ago, and I sent them an emoji with a tear because it was like, what about me?
You're going to have to move there.
Nah, this is my home now. Los Angeles is my home, and my family is here. My kids go to school here. So to uproot everybody, no.
Fair enough.
They'll miss me and they'll come back.
That's true. You just have to do it that way. Well, listen, it was really great to chat to you, and I can't wait to see you at Donington next year, headlining where you belong on that stage. So it will be fun.
I will be looking for you smiling and dancing and having a great time.